Hey fellow Aquarists, how you doing today? I'm Steve from Reef Plus. I wanted to talk to you about feeding your fish. It's really important because a lot of people I don't think really know how to feed their fish. They feed too much or too little or not often enough. I like to feed my fish twice a day if possible. And the reason for that is they get hungry in the morning because they haven't been fed all night and they need that extra energy during the day to swim around. And then at night, it's good for them to get a little bit of food before the lights go down. And also, some of the fish have a different feeding schedule than some of the other fish. So some of the fish aren't hungry right away when the lights come on, and some of them are. So, you know, each fish has kind of a different timetable for that. If you can't feed every day, I understand that. So you just have to know exactly how much to feed so that the fish isn't overfed or underfed. You know, oftentimes I'll see fish that are sunken in or pinched looking, and that's not good, or the fish are so bloated out that, you know, and there's a lot of algae in the tank, and that's not good either. And one of the ways to prevent algae is not to leave a lot of leftover fish food laying on the bottom. There's a few different, excuse me, there's a few different fish foods that you can feed. I like variety is best, so the more different types you have, the better. Because I like to eat a lot of different food, and I know you probably do too, and you can't expect the fish to just eat brine shrimp. You can expect them to want to eat some, you know, krill, they're going to want some chopped fish, they're going to want pieces of algae, they're going to want leafy materials, they're going to want little pieces, big pieces, a lot of different stuff to keep them full and entertained. I mean, let's face it, this is like the most exciting part of the day for them is eating, and I know it is for a lot of people too. So a few of the different types of foods I like to feed. I like this P.E. mysis shrimp. This is really good stuff. It's very low water content, super high protein. It's a good shrimp. It's big. It doesn't take a whole lot of these to fill up average sized fish. I like the ocean plankton. Once and again, it's a pretty big shrimp. It feeds even like the little hawkfish and stuff like that, the more predatory fish. They actually feel like they got something when they grab it. The Amphias like it. A lot of the different fish like it. I like this mysis shrimp. Now this is Hikari's mysis shrimp. It's their triple sterilized, super clean fish food, and it's really good for clownfish, smaller fish. It's good for the shrimps, the little starfish underneath, because you can't forget about them. You do want a little bit of food to go down there if you do have brittle stars and stuff like that, so you know, you don't want to forget them. You know, this rod's predator food is very chunky. It's got shrimp, scallop, oyster, clam, squid, octopus, perch, krill, nori. It's got all different kinds of golden pearls and garlic and selco and all the other good stuff, and the important part is that it's chunky. So little pieces of that will make it to your corals and stuff, and they'll eat it. Rod also has his original reef blend, which is very good if you have a smaller aquarium with smaller gobies and things like that. They really like that stuff. I've known him for a long time, and he does a great job making it. We sell it here at the Reef Plus. Hey guys, what's up? I'm back. Just mixing up a little bit of food here for these guys now. I've got it pretty much de-thawed. I've got P.E. mysis, I've got Hikari mysis, and I've got plankton from Hikari, which are all great foods. Now, some people do recommend to strain your foods. I think that's a great idea if you strain this after you de-thaw it, and the reason for that is because you see that all that gunk right there. That gunk isn't generally always good for your aquarium. I'm going to put it in this time, and the reason being is I haven't been feeding my corals a whole lot, and I think that will help enrich them a little bit. But for those of you that don't have extreme filtration systems on your aquarium, I wouldn't recommend that you pour that in there, so it's best to pour that food through a net and strain it out. That's a huge tip that will really save you a lot of nitrates and phosphates and really help your tank stay clean. But I have a very aggressive skimmer on this tank. My corals are hungry, so I'm just going to go ahead and pour all that in there. But the trick is to pour it in slowly so that the fish all come up to the top right here and feed the food. You want to feed the fish and not your aquarium. Remember, feed the fish and not your aquarium. Your aquarium is going to get some, believe me, because it's going to go in the water and it's going to go all over. But the trick is to get most of it. A lot of people, they'll do is they'll take this entire cup and they'll just dump it right in. Well, there's the amount that's prescribed. I'm going to throw it in, and a lot of it's going to get caught underneath the rocks, and the brittle stars aren't going to get it all. So what I like to do is slowly divvy it out to the fish as they come up to the top and to grab it. So what we'll do right here is we'll mix up some of this. Come on, guys, it's time to. So I'll put a little bit in. I'll kind of get them over here. They're all going to come eating. Now guys like this Naso Tang here, you're going to have to supplement his diet with algae sheets. You tie to a rock or something like that throughout the day. I recommend that at least 2 to 3 times a week just to keep him looking full. You can see this guy looks a little bit hungry, so it's going to be time to give him one of those algae sheets. That's really good for them because they're grazing fish. They can't get enough of this in one feeding. So those guys you got to give that to. The blue tangs, they'll chew on it too, and believe it or not, the triggers, they'll eat it as well. Yeah, they seem like they're liking it quite a bit. Now that's about all I'm going to give. There's plenty floating around, probably a little bit too much maybe, but I'm going to take the rest of this and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and feed it in my second feeding. This will be good for the day. If you leave it till the next day, that's no good because bacteria can grow in there and that's not good for the fish. So you want to really make sure that you use that. I know I'm going to use it later, so it's okay. But at any rate, I also have the rod's chunky. The way I feed the rod's Predator, I call it chunky, but he calls it Predator. The reason I call it that is because more than just the predators like to eat it. A lot of the other guys like to eat it too. And I don't even de-thaw that. I just kind of put it right in the tank. That way the chunks kind of go right in there. And that's great for the brittle stars and stuff because they really rely on those big chunks. So I'll just kind of let a couple of those float by. There you have it. Everybody looks pretty good.